Hello everyone, I hope you're all having an absolutely wonderful day. It is time to update my Shop My Stash. I do this about once a month, and it is where I pull out items from my collection that I want to make sure get use, especially at this time of year. I have a lot of different shades that I only wear at specific times of year, and when it comes to summertime, I feel like that's especially the case. That's when I really want to pull out blushes and things that literally just lay there until summertime. So I like to use this series as a way to get through all of my things throughout the year. Before I get started, I have to tell you what I'm drinking. I'm actually filming this later in the evening. I usually don't film this late. So to make sure I get some rest tonight, I'm drinking herbal tea, which I normally don't. Normally I can drink caffeine and still sleep anyway, but tonight I really want to sleep. Last night, someone was shooting fireworks off at like 3 a.m. for hours, so we didn't sleep much. Tonight I must sleep. So I'm drinking an herbal tea. This is my favorite herbal tea, Bengal Spice. I almost forgot the name of my favorite herbal tea. Bengal Spice from Celestial Seasonings. It's like a very, very good spicy chai, but with no caffeine. Okay, so first I'm going to go through all of the products that I'm going to be putting back, and then I'll show you all the things that will be coming out for the month of July. Shall we start with eyeshadow? So in the month of June, I had been testing the Lorac Amour palette. So this, I feel like I did some extensive testing on, so this is going back into my collection. One that I had kept in for a couple different rotations was my Kaleidos Lunar Lavender palette. I finally did use this. I really did enjoy the look I created using the purple topper shades in this palette. I tend to stay away from these. For some reason, I have a hard time with these two colors. I think they kind of go pink on me, but I do really enjoy the neutrals and those two topper shades. So anyway, really enjoyed using that. I'm also going to put my Urban Decay Naked Mini 3 back. I had this out trying to get at least 20 uses on it. I've hit 15 uses on it, and now I'm ready to put it back. And I'm trying to allow myself to be more flexible with goals like that, where if I really just not wanting to use it, I'm going to allow myself to put it back. So 15 uses on this in the past couple of months, and I enjoyed it while I used it, but yeah, ready to reach for other things. So this is going back into my collection. I put a bunch of warm gold singles into this singles palette for myself to use, and I did use them. This over here is the Kaja Toasted Caramel Bento Box. Always a pleasure to use Kaja shadows. They really have a special micro sparkle to them that have a just beautiful wet look. Same with this shade from Glam Shop. I actually tapped this over my eye look today, and I don't know if you can see it. Like I said, I'm filming later than usual, so I'm actually using a ring light for once. I don't know if you can even see really the sparkle that's going on in my eyes, but absolutely love that. Same with this shade from Nabla. This is the shade Water Dream. Beautiful tapped over something, absolutely gorgeous. The only one I didn't get a chance to use was this one from Davina, so I'm gonna pull that out and make sure that gets into the next rotation as well. I had also pulled out some cream shadows in the last rotation. This one from Kure Weiss in the shade Ember. I've talked about this a lot on my channel in the past months, so I don't feel like I need to go into it extensively, but I really did enjoy it, and this is going back into my collection, as well as this one from Auric. Now this is one I didn't actually get to. I have the shade Defiance, so this that's what the cream shadow looks like, and then the topper is like a golden topper. This is going to stay out for the next rotation. The foundation I'm going to be putting away is this one from Essence. I've been wearing this a lot in videos. Just at this time of year when my skin is naturally more oily, I tend to need something that can lean a little bit more matte skin finish. I don't like super matte foundations, but this one is almost there, and it makes it really nice for filming. So this one, I have the shade Neutral Vanilla, shade number 40, and I got some really good use on it last month. So I'm gonna be putting this one away. Blushes I'll be putting away. I'll be putting away my Milani blush palette. I used these two shades. I always enjoy using this. It is nice and sheer. It's really pretty easy to use. I also had a Kure Weiss blush pulled out last month. This is the shade Inner Glow. Again, this is something I've mentioned a lot on my channel, so I'm not going to spend forever talking about it, but I really enjoyed using it. But this is also going back. Other blushes that I used and enjoyed in the last month but are going back into my collection would be Phytosurgence in the shade Inferno, Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur in the shade Blurred Buff, Essence the Blush in the shade Befitting, the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Blush in the shade Rosy, and also my e.l.f. Putty Blush in the shade Tahiti. If you're like, why aren't you doing swatches of all these things? I will do swatches of all the things that I'm pulling out in the next rotation. If you're looking for swatches of these things, you can check out my last video. I do try to swatch everything if I can remember to. What is happening to my camera? It's slowly falling over. Okay, that was weird. I'm not sure why my camera was falling over. That was strange. We'll see how that looks back in editing. I'm sure it'll be weird. But okay, moving on from, oh no, not moving on from blush. There were a few others I had pulled out, but I'm not ready to put back yet. Namely Tower 28 Magic Hour, my Glossier Cloud Paint in the shade Beam, and then my NYX Sweet Cheeks Soft Cheek Tint Blush Mousse in the shade Nude Tude. These three are going to be staying out into the next rotation. The highlighter I had pulled out for last month was NARS Fort de France, and I think I'm probably going to put this back just for now, and I think I might pull it out again in August. It's just a really, really good summer shade for me. All the lip products I had pulled out to use, I did use at least once. That makes me happy that, you know, the things that I'm not panning are still getting used. One of those would be this Colourpop Ultra Blotted Lip in the shade Doozy. This is so bright on my lips. There was one video where I was wearing this, and looking back and editing, I was like, wow. It was just more bright than I'm used to, but I did use it. Also, my Believe Beauty gloss in the shade Georgia Peach, perfect for this time of year. That's going back. My little Ilia lip oil in the shade Only You. This is a really nice soft pink. This is also going back. My e.l.f. glossy lip stain in the shade Basic Beige. This is also really pretty, but I feel like you have to be careful not to apply too much or you'll get lip puddling. At least I do along my bottom lip with this one, but the color is really, really pretty. That is going back into my stash. I also had 3 lipsticks. My Lisa Eldridge lipstick in the shade Painterly. Beautiful, love wearing it. That's going back. And then I had pulled out my 2 Flower Beauty lipsticks. I have the shade Naked Blush and Spiced Petal. Both of these got used for me last month, so I'm gonna be putting those back into my stash as well. I'm slowly losing the light. I might need to turn up the ring light here. Let's see what happens. Let's turn it up one little increment. Ooh, a little bit brighter. Let's leave it there. I feel like I'm all over the place tonight. That's so wonderful. Okay, now we get to products that I'm pulling out for the coming rotation. So for my almost matte, more skin-like finish that I like to wear in the summertime for filming, I'm gonna pull out my Believe Beauty foundation in the shade Delicate Ivory. This is so nice. Every time I use it, I'm surprised at how nice it is. All the way down from its beautiful pump component in a little glass jar to the actual formula. It's really, really nice, and it's $5. It's amazing to me. Anyway, this is coming out. And this time of year, I also really want to reach for my MAC Studio Radiance Face and Body. This one's actually a couple shades too dark for me, but since it's such a sheer foundation, I could make it work. And there's something about the finish of this, when you use your hands to warm it up, it acts in a totally different way than if you use a brush. It actually gives it more coverage if you use your fingers, and it gives it a more blurred look. It's absolutely amazing what this does. This is one of those products, high-end products, that's absolutely worth it for me, and I probably will always have it in my collection. It's absolutely gorgeous, but since it is a little too dark for me, this is the time of year I like to wear it. Okay, let's talk about blushes. So in addition to the 3 from the previous rotation that are still staying out, I'm also going to pull out my Colourpop Cheek Dew. So this blush, I think about a lot if I should declutter it, just because it often separates and it looks just gross in the tube with the oil and like the color just kind of sitting in there weirdly. But this is one of those blushes that I absolutely adore the finish. Like, it is absolutely beautiful. And it's also in a shade I don't purchase very often for myself. It's more of like a dark berryish shade, but you can very, very easily sheer it out so it's not so intense. I mean, look how sheer it becomes. But this blush is definitely not for everyone. It's definitely got a whole lot of dew going on, and I really sheared it out so you could see how sheer you can make it. I like to apply it with a brush. In fact, I think that's the only way this looks good on my skin. I don't like it using fingers because then it just looks kind of splotchy, and I don't like using it with a sponge because then it soaks up all the product. I feel like you need to use a brush with this product, and then it's just beautiful. So if you like the dewy look, it might be worth trying out. Just know that from the very beginning, they separate in the tube, so it's hard to know if it's gone bad or not. I'm gonna pull out another serum blush, this one from M Cosmetics. This is, in my opinion, a superior formula to the Colourpop one. I have the shade Venetian Rose, which this is a very sheer application of it, is a very, very wearable color for me. This is also a dewy blush, but it doesn't have the same issues with needing a brush to apply it. I can apply it with my fingers, with a brush, with a sponge, whatever, and it always looks good. I see I'm losing the light. I'm becoming more and more yellow here. Let's see if we can make it more mimicking daylight. Let's push the button and see what happens. Nope, that's more yellow. White, that might be better. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Oh yeah, that is much better to see the colors. I'm also gonna pull out my Honest Beauty blush. This is one of my most favorite blushes, and earlier this year, I did hit pan in it. I have the shade Rose Pink. What it looks like there. It is actually quite pigmented blush. Absolutely lovely, really good staying power. And then lastly, I'm gonna pull out my e.l.f. Active Workout Ready Lip and Cheek Palette. I really wish that they would bring this back. This is a beautiful palette. The blushes are really, really pigmented, and there is a little highlighter in here that lays beautifully on the skin. Okay, so that is that palette swatched out. Look at how pretty that highlighter is. Really, really pretty. These are so pigmented. I like to mix them, especially these two shades, to create a nudie pink color. Really pretty, and it's been a little while since I pulled this out, so excited to use this. I'm also gonna be pulling out a bunch of bronzers, which I don't normally mention bronzer in my Shop My Stash because up until now I've only had 2 bronzers. But this past month I got some cream bronzers. So this one, Makeup by Mario, the Softscupt Transforming Skin Enhancer in the shade Light. I am actually wearing this today. I don't know if you can see it very well with the lighting I have going on right now, but it is a beautiful sheer, yeah, you can barely see it right now, sorry about that so much, but a beautiful sheer, pretty glowy cream bronzer. And then I have 2 of the e.l.f. putty blushes. I have the shades Feelin, Shady and Honey Drip. Feelin Shady is practically gray, but it actually works out really well. There's Feelin Shady, and Honey Drip has more color to it, but it's not orange, which pleases me. So that is Honey Drip. For highlighter, I'm gonna pull out my new Merit Balm. I just got this in PR. It sounds very strange to say that. Still really weird to say that, but this is their new shade. Oops, I grabbed the wrong one, not this one. This is the new shade, this shade Citrine. So it looks very golden, and for me, I know just looking at it, it can be kind of intimidating to wear a shade like this, but happily, if you do have very light skin, it can still work because the base of it is so translucent. So what you're getting is just a really, really pretty golden dew, you might say, but it doesn't leave any sort of a cast on your face. And this probably wouldn't be a shade I reach for other times of year, but in the summer, really pretty. For single shadows, I pulled out another selection of singles. I will quick swatch these out for you. Okay, so here are all of the shadows I'm gonna be pulling out. A quick read down the list of what we've got here. Sydney Grace Blushed, Sydney Grace Hot Stuff, Sydney Grace Chocolate Bar, Naked Cosmetics Mother Nature, Nomad Cosmetics Erez El Mundo. This is the Divina shade I didn't get to last time. This is Divina Erratic, Divina Amara. This is Unexpected from Shady Glow, which is an absolutely insane shimmer. I'm sure, oh yeah, I still have it on my finger right here. Absolutely wild. And this is a Depotted Natasha Denona shade. It's kind of pretty hard, I think, for you guys to see, but it's a very pale yellow, and it's the shade Limoncello. So that's what that looks like right there. So that is my little color story. I'll probably be pairing it a lot with different palettes and things. As far as palettes go for the next month, I kind of want to do an experiment and just let myself reach for what I want, which I never do that. I always pull out items specifically in my Shop My Stash. This month, I think I'm just gonna pull things out as I want them, and then I will let you know what those things are in my next update. I'm interested to see how that goes. Lip products, I'm gonna pull out the lip product I'm wearing right now, actually. This is the Merit lipstick in the shade Slip. This is the shade of brown I can wear and pull off. It is absolutely beautiful. I mean, I think it looks good. I like it. I'm not always a fan of nude lipsticks on myself, but I do like this one. Another nude lipstick I'm gonna pull out is from Bobbi Brown. This is the Crushed Lip Color in the shade Sazan Nude. And next to that one, you can tell it definitely has a lot more pink in it. While it's still summer, I wanna make sure and get good use out of this lipstick from YSL. So this is one of the Rouge Volupté Shines. This is the shade Rose Dentelle. It is a very shiny, like really like melty lip balmy type formula. Really pretty, and this is a color that I would wear in the summer and not so much in the winter or fall. From L'Oreal, this has the most long name and they don't ever put it on their packaging. I'm trying to remember what this is called. This is like the Glow Paradise Lip Balm in Gloss, Gloss in Balm, something like that. Anyway, I have the shade Rose Harmony. So this is L'Oreal's version of a liquid lip balm. I think it's actually quite nice. And that is the shade there. All right, those are all of the new things I'm gonna be pulling out. I'm really looking forward to my makeup in the month of July. I want everything to be really warm and toasty. Are those also the type of colors that you've pulled for in July? If not, what do you look for? Like, what sort of makeup do you guys like to wear in July? I'd be interested to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for putting up with the weird lighting today and my weird mood. I feel like I'm just really weird today. I hope that you guys have a really good one. I'll see you very soon in the next one. Bye!